Hi all, welcome to a new video and web application penetration testing tutorial. Today, we are going to have an overview of password cracking and password cracking tools and techniques. So, let's start. Here is today's agenda we are going to cover today. First, we will discuss what is password cracking. Then, we will demonstrate what a password cracking process looks like. After that, we will talk about password cracking techniques. Finally, we will demonstrate 3 of the most common tools that are used in password cracking by demonstrating John the Ripper, Johnny, and Hashcat tools. Let's start. So, what is password cracking? Password cracking refers to the process of utilizing software applications to discover or retrieve a password that is unknown or forgotten, granting access to a computer or network resource. However, this technique can also be exploited by malicious individuals or threat actors to gain unauthorized entry to various resources. By employing password cracking methods, threat actors can engage in a range of illicit activities, such as the theft of banking credentials, identity theft, and fraudulent actions. Password cracking tools employ diverse approaches to recover passwords. These approaches may involve comparing a list of words to make educated guesses or repeatedly attempting different passwords using algorithms. Additionally, attackers can rely on their own intuition to guess passwords if they possess sufficient information about the target or if the target is using a commonly used password. Some password cracking tools employ hybrid attack strategies, combining dictionary entries with numbers or special characters. For instance, a password cracker might search for variations like ANS01, ANS02, ANS03, and so on. This technique can be advantageous in cases where users have been advised to include a numerical component in their passwords. But what does a password cracking process look like? Well, the general procedure employed by a password cracker encompasses the following 4 steps. Acquire a password through illicit means. Typically, passwords are encrypted using a hash function, which is a mathematical operation converting variable length inputs into a fixed length encrypted output. Choose a cracking approach, such as a brute force or dictionary attack, and select an appropriate cracking tool. Prepare the password hashes for the cracking program by inputting them into the hash function to generate a hash that can be verified. Execute the cracking tool. Additionally, a password cracker may possess the capability to detect encrypted passwords. It can retrieve the password from the computer's memory and, in some cases, decrypt it. Alternatively, the password cracker can employ the same algorithm as the system program to produce an encrypted version of the password that matches the original. Now, let's move to password cracking techniques. Password crackers use 2 primary methods to identify correct passwords: brute force and dictionary attacks. However, there are plenty of other password cracking methods, including the following. Brute force. This attack runs through combinations of characters of a predetermined length until it finds the combination that matches the password. Dictionary search. Here, a password cracker searches each word in the dictionary for the correct password. Password dictionaries exist for a variety of topics and combinations of topics, including politics, movies, and music groups. Phishing. These attacks are used to gain access to user passwords without the use of a password cracking tool. Instead, a user is fooled into clicking on an email attachment. From here, the attachment could install malware or prompt the user to use their email to sign into a false version of a website, revealing their password. Malware. Similar to phishing, using malware is another method of gaining unauthorized access to passwords without the use of a password cracking tool. Malware such as keyloggers, which track keystrokes, or screen scrapers, which take screenshots, are used instead. Rainbow attack. This approach involves using different words from the original password in order to generate other possible passwords. Malicious actors can keep a list called a rainbow table with them. This list contains leaked and previously cracked passwords, which will make the overall password cracking method more effective. There are many tools that are used in password cracking. Password crackers can be used maliciously or legitimately to recover lost passwords. Among the password cracking tools available are the following three. The first one is Cain and Abel. This password recovery software can recover passwords for Microsoft Windows user accounts and Microsoft Access passwords. Cain and Abel use a graphical user interface, making it more user-friendly than comparable tools. The software uses dictionary lists and brute force attack methods. The second tool is OPHCrack. This password cracker uses rainbow tables and brute force attacks to crack passwords. It runs on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. And the third tool, John the Ripper, that we will demonstrate how to use during this tutorial. This tool uses a dictionary list approach and is available primarily for Mac OS and Linux systems. The tool has a command prompt to crack passwords, making it more difficult to use than software like Cain and Abel. Let's discuss how to use John the Ripper cracking tool. John the Ripper tool is an open-source password security auditing and password recovery tool available for many operating systems. It is one of many tools that are by default installed in Kali Linux. To crack the password using John the Ripper tool, first, you will have to use the command unshadow to combine both the password file and shadow hash file that is found in etc folder and which contain the all users of this computer and their passwords hashes. As shown below, you should the following command and choose the output file name, which will be pass.txt. After that you will use the command John with the given file pass.txt, which combines both the users and their hashes from the previous step, to crack the password of all users. As shown in the figure below, the password for root was cracked successfully. Now, let's take an overview of the second tool today, Johnny. Alternatively, you can use another built-in tool in Kali Linux which is called Johnny, that is capable of cracking the password like John the Ripper but in a graphical interface. All that you want to do with Johnny is to specify the hash file, which we can get after copying the contents of the etc shadow file, then choose the hashing type to use as shown below. The third and final tool for today is Hashcat. Hashcat is another tool that is particularly fast and efficient tool that can crack any password by brute forcing by conducting them with hash values of passwords. As shown in the figure below, the help for the Hashcat and the syntax of the command. First, specify the hash type which will be 100 in our example. Secondly, specify the attack mode which will be 1 here. Finally, specify the shadow file path and the word list that will be used during the password cracking process. And the full command is shown in the figure below. And now, we have discussed all our topics for today. I wish you have got a good understanding of today's tutorial. Looking forward to hearing from you if you have any comments.